Welcome to Phrasal Verb Practice. This is the place to learn real English, one phrasal verb at a time. My name is Marissa, and I'll walk you through this learning journey. Hi team, I hope everyone's having a good day. Let's learn and practice the phrasal verb, cut out. So let's start with what cut out means. This phrasal verb has a few common uses, and the meaning depends on the situation. First, we use cut out when we talk about stopping something completely. When we say cut out here, we mean removing something from our routine or life. For example, I'm trying to cut out sugar. She decided to cut out junk food. He wants to cut out late nights. The idea here is total removal, not less, completely gone. Now, there's another very common use of cut out. We also use cut out when something suddenly stops working. This is very common with sound, video, internet, or machines. For example, the sound cut out during the call. My internet keeps cutting out. The engine cut out on the highway. Here, nothing is removed by choice. It just stops unexpectedly. There's one more use that's very practical. We use cut out when we remove something physically by cutting it. For example, she cut out a picture from the magazine. He cut out a paper heart. The kids cut out shapes for their project. So the shared idea behind cut out is removing something completely. It can be a habit, it can be a signal, or it can be a physical piece. Now, just to connect this idea to other languages for a moment. In Spanish, it's often eliminar, dejar, or recortar. In French, enlever, arrêter, or découper. In Portuguese, eliminar, parar, or recortar. In Italian, eliminare, smettere, or ritagliare. In German, weglassen, aufhören, or ausschneiden. In Japanese, yameru, or kiritoru. And in Chinese, 切掉, 停止, or 忍下. The meaning stays very close. So, when do people usually use cut out? People use cut out when they want to stop a habit completely, when something suddenly stops working, when they remove a piece by cutting it, or when they want to simplify their routine. Let's hear a few examples to bring it all together. I'm trying to cut out soda. The video cut out halfway through. She cut out pictures for the presentation. He decided to cut out overtime. The audio cut out again. Now let's talk about how we use cut out in a sentence. Cut out can be separable or inseparable, depending on the meaning. When cut out means removing or eliminating something, it's separable. So both of these work. Cut out sugar. Cut sugar out. With pronouns, the pronoun goes in the middle. Cut it out. Cut them out. When cut out means something stops working, it's inseparable. There's usually no object. We just say, the sound cut out. The signal keeps cutting out. And the verb form never changes. Present, past, or participle, it's always cut out. All right, now let's practice. First, you'll listen to a short text about everyday life. Then you'll hear another one in a professional or office situation. Are you ready? Let's start. Lately, I've been trying to simplify my days without turning everything into a big challenge. It started one morning when I opened the fridge and realized how many snacks I grabbed without thinking. That's when I decided to cut out sugary drinks. Not slowly, just completely. The first few days felt strange, but then it became normal. Around the same time, my internet started acting up. I was on a video call with a friend when the sound suddenly cut out. We both laughed, waited a second, and tried again. A few minutes later, the video cut out too. It was one of those days where technology just doesn't cooperate. In the afternoon, my niece came over to work on a school project. She spread paper, markers, and scissors all over the table and started to cut out shapes for a poster. Watching her carefully cut out hearts and stars reminded me how focused kids can be when they enjoy something. That evening, I talked to my parents. My dad mentioned he was trying to cut out late-night snacking. My mom said she wanted to cut out unnecessary errands and stay home more. It felt like everyone was trying to remove little things that made life heavier. Later, while cooking dinner, the music suddenly cut out. Silence filled the kitchen. Instead of fixing it right away, I left it off and kept cooking. It was peaceful. Sometimes when noise cuts out, you notice things you usually miss. After dinner, I looked at my phone and realized how often I checked it without reason. So I decided to cut out notifications for the night. No buzzing, no alerts, just quiet time. Before bed, I sat down with the notebook and cut out pictures from an old magazine to make a simple collage. It felt relaxing, creative, unrushed. By the end of the day, I noticed a pattern. When habits are cut out, when distractions cut out, and when noise cuts out, life feels clearer, not empty, just lighter. Great, that was the first text. How many times did you hear the phrasal verb of the day? Now let's move on to the second text. The day started with a planning meeting that was supposed to be quick. Halfway through, the video froze and the audio cut out. We waited a moment, reconnected, and tried again. A few minutes later, the sound cut out once more. No one got upset. We joked about it and kept going. After the meeting, our manager sent a follow-up email. She said we needed to cut out a few steps in our process that were slowing projects down. Nothing drastic, just things that no longer added value. The idea was to simplify, not overload the team. Later that morning, I reviewed my task list and realized I was doing too many small things at once. I decided to cut out unnecessary checks and focus on the main priorities. Once I did that, my work felt clearer and more manageable. During lunch, I helped a colleague prepare slides for a presentation. We went through the draft together and decided to cut out a few slides that repeated the same message. The presentation became stronger and easier to follow. In the afternoon, we had another call with a client. Right in the middle of an important explanation, the connection cut out. We apologized, rejoined the call, and picked up where we left off. Everyone was patient. These things happen. Toward the end of the day, IT sent a message explaining that a system update might cause access to cut out briefly. Knowing that in advance helped the team stay calm when it happened. Before wrapping up, my manager encouraged us to cut out after-hours emails whenever possible. She wanted everyone to disconnect and recharge. I appreciated that more than I expected. As I finished my last task, I noticed how much smoother the day felt. We had chosen to cut out distractions, repeated work, and extra noise. Even when technology cut out unexpectedly, the team adapted. By the time I shut down my computer, it was clear. Knowing when to cut out what doesn't help makes work lighter, more focused, and easier to enjoy. Great, that was the second text, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for following this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.